Damn, I don't know who gonna win this motherfucker. I legitimately don't know. I'm gonna just throw one out there. I'm gonna go Shigaraki. I'm gonna just throw it out there. I think he gonna win it. I'm not 100% confident in that. Like, I'm not 10 toes on that. But fuck it. Let's get into it. Oh shit, okay.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated his inherent superpower, or quirk.
I
Wasn't
remember
something
that
cool
scene. That
like
shit was
flight or
crazy.
super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one. The greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his league of villains in destroying hero society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect power for someone who just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dorky-ass costume. I get it, hands are his thing, but come on, he just looks so dumb and fake.
Those aren't prosthetics.
Well,
those
I thought
are
that
real
shit was
hands
hard.
from his family that he killed, attached to his face, and explicitly commanded to be left there by
What's
his
up,
mentor
smooth baby?
so
How
that
you
he would
doing?
never forget his rage.
Okay.
While his
How
use of
everything sounds,
decay
smooth.
started
Do I
off
sound
relatively
good?
weak, it
Do the video
rapidly
sound
increased in
good?
power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything
Decay.
that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out
I am
anything
too.
from an
I had to
enormous
force
tower
myself to
to an
shrink.
entire city.
I'm not
If
gonna lie.
decay
like,
reaches you, your
legitimately
only hope
not
is to
having
isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something
But-
vital.
After years of
Hey,
training with the greatest supervillain
keep
of all
it moving,
time,
right?
Shigaraki was finally put in
Like,
charge
I'm
of his
not-
own
this
team
month
with
is big
one
complete
mission.
dog shit.
He must kill
And I
his
understand,
master's
I'm not
rival,
getting into
the
it. I already
number
know
one
you going
hero,
through it too.
All Might.
Only to fall flat
Oh,
on
I'm
his
kinda
face.
low.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well,
Cringe! Oh, he's just
How
so
about now?
cringe. He uses
Compared
gamer
to the
lingo
video, how about now?
unironically. He whines like a baby
that
when
better?
things don't go his way.
It's 'cause I'm not
He's the
right up
kinda
on the
guy
mic.
who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
but they say
Okay,
defeat is
okay,
the
bet.
greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Yeah, no,
Right, as
I'm
All
not.
Might's new
I'm not having a
protege,
good time,
Izuku
but I'm
Midoriya,
here.
was
Yeah.
coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All For One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever
Way
before,
better now? Okay,
Shigaraki
bet.
stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight, and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers. for
Yeah,
his
you know what?
personal
Yeah, I'm
army.
locked in on
To
Shigaraki.
impress
I
All
ain't
For
gonna lie.
One's personal quack.
I'm locked in on
Dr.
Shigaraki. I
Ujiko,
think he
who
definitely
spent
got it.
months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles.
Oh,
in the
no,
sky.
not the
We've
spoiler,
calculated
hold
that before
on.
to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT.
No,
almost
fuck.
as much as the meteor that wiped out the
Nah, Death
dinosaurs.
Battle
And
spoiled
Shigaraki
me.
can now move fast enough that his body produces
Damn,
hypersonic
I didn't
shockwaves
see
and
that.
can even catch laser beams.
And
Okay,
he's
I
coming
seen
up
that.
to survive Star
I
and
seen him
Stripes
pack Shorty
Intercontinental
up.
Ballistic Cruise Pod.
Yeah, I see him
Now
pack
a
up
new
Stars
name
and
for
Stripes, but I didn't didn't know they
Move
fought
over,
that nigga
gigantic
yet.
Omega
Yeah.
Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay
God
became? Oh shit! More hands!
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate
Yeah,
flesh
Shigaraki, he
into
got it, bro.
existence,
He got it.
seemingly oceans of it in an instant.
I'm gonna be surprised
whenever he
if he
wants.
lose.
He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All for One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All for One's quirk, All for One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All for One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul.
No, they spoil-
exist
that
in this
battle
kinda
spoiling
psychic
crazy, I'm not
world
gonna
in
lie, but it's
Shigaraki's
fine.
body, and can even
It
act
is-
as
it
a
is what it
spiritual
is.
defense should it be invaded.
I didn't know they had
With
new
those
episodes
vestiges
out.
came quirks like super fast healing, air blast, radio
Actually,
waves,
low-key, when I
flight,
get off stream, I might
telekinesis,
watch
teleportation
this.
of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All for One's vestige, that means All for One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning.
Oh
Why?
my god, the
Because
spoils!
All Might's
They're
previous
spoiling
mentor
it!
was Nana
Fuck!
Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life, all for one purpose: to create
Oh
a
my
soul
God,
so corrupted
what?
it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All for One to take full control.
But All for One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol
Yo.
of hope defeated the new
Run it
symbol
back,
of
hold
fear,
on. Nah, they
carrying All for One's
they
grudge
spoiling the
for
fuck
good.
All that
out of my
Shigaraki
hero,
asked was to be
dude.
remembered as the heartless destroyer he was.
We're gonna go back. Is that
Teleportation of
cool?
others
That's
and the
cool,
ability
Smooth?
to track
They
foes.
spoiling the
He can
fuck
even
out
combine
of my
multiple
hero,
quirks
right?
Together, like in this
Come on,
big-ass
bro.
electric Kamehameha.
I don't hold on, wait.
Any
Low key, I don't even want to watch this shit no more. Because if they spoiling my hero like that, they gonna spoil the fuck out of JJK. I don't want to watch this shit no more. I low key want to skip, but we low key. Oh god, I might have to skip the JJK shit, bro, because I really don't want to get spoiled for JJK. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they started talking about all. I didn't like. Where I left off is when Shigaraki fought Stars and Stripes and killed her basically, and then a little bit after that. Yeah, the details is crazy. They going crazy with the story. I might have to skip the JJK shit because I am not trying to get spoiled on JJK. Not gonna lie. Sorry, YouTube. My fault. But I'm gonna have to skip the
vestige
JJK.
stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also
I'm gonna let them explain
sentient,
Mahito's
and some can
powers
even fight
and
for
shit, and
control.
then that'll be
Which
that.
is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All for One's vestige, that means All for One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's
insane.
entire life.
That's
all
insane.
For one purpose: to create
This
a
is
soul
stream
so
exclusive
corrupted
bet,
it
okay.
would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All For One to take full control.
But All For One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. His spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All For One's grudge for good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hold on, wait.
Remembered as
Hold
the
on, wait.
heartless destroyer he was
Hold
raised.
on, wait. I gotta see that
Next
one
level
more time.
hating right there.
He manipulated
I gotta
Shigaraki's
see that one more
entire
time.
life.
My
Even
fault.
fight
My
for
fault,
control.
Smooth.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because
second shoe,
Shigaraki
okay.
also got All For One's vestige, that means
Right.
All For One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tanko's grandmother.
Oh, that to mess with All Might. That is some next level hating right there.
He manipulated
Wait.
Shigaraki's entire life. All
Wait,
for one
wait. And groomed her. Oh my God! That's his grandma. Oh my fucking God! Wait, okay. Wait. I feel like they said that though. I feel like they said that, if I'm not mistaken. But that's still fucking crazy, yo. Fuck All For One.
He had a soul so
nigga's a
corrupted
dick,
it would
dude.
grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All For
That's-
One
yeah,
to take
yeah, that's
full
crazy,
control.
But All For One's possession
crazy
wasn't
as hell.
complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite
And I don't gotta
Izuku's
skip the
best efforts to
JJK
save
shit 'cause
him,
Mahito
Shigaraki
is
was
dead,
too
so-
far gone.
Unless
His
he comes
spirit
back.
decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All For One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just that one moment, though, Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him. This battle is sponsored by Robin Hood Gold.
With Robin Hood Gold, you can now
Yeah,
enjoy the
mine's
VIP
still
treatment,
dead, so.
receiving a 3%
Unless
IRA
he come
match
back
on
or something,
retirement
we skipping this
contributions.
ad.
The privileges of the very privileged.
Unless he come
By
back
Robin
or
Hood Gold,
something, which
LLC.
I don't think he will, we should be good.
Ever since Cain slew his brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
But what
Yo,
if this
real quick, Smooth. I'm sorry I keep pausing. I seen a theory because I watched Sinners and I was talking to one of my coworkers about it and stuff like that. And he nerdy like us, like he into all of that stuff, like anime, vampire, like all that shit. So we was chatting and we got into like vampires and more in detail. And he was like, I don't know if he came up with the theory or if he saw the theory and he believes it. I can't remember, but he said that he feels like Cain from the Cain and Abel story was the first vampire because he packed his brother and then he was given immortality after that as like a punishment, but it wasn't. I mean, it depends on how you feel about it. And he basically got immortality from bloodshed. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's kind of fucking crazy. And what if you had a story, this is just being nerdy, a story of Cain from Cain and Abel going around, just living life, going around, turning motherfuckers into vampires. That's nuts. That's fucking crazy. I will watch that anime. I will watch the fuck out of that anime. Or somebody trying to stop him. Or like vampire hunters trying to find the first vampire to end vampires. That's crazy as fuck, ain't it? I watched the fuck out of that. They trying to like find the first vampire to end all vampires, or at least attempt to. and they find out it's fucking Kane. That'd be insane, bro. I will watch the fuck out of that. That's a top tier anime.
Fear took on a life of its own.
What if all that negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed, forming, over time, a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with the patch face, Mahito. Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever afflict mankind. He's no mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit. Innumerable spirits exist, weaker or stronger depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits way stronger, faster, and tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage. They may be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a Jujutsu sorcerer to come in and Kaizen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals, but Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
Which also makes him kind of a goofball. If nothing matters, why not have fun with the slaughter? Really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before in your throat.
An appropriate analogy considering his curse technique, idol transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants, like Play-Doh. He can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All that with one touch!
That shit was sick.
Was bad.
His powers mean...
What he did to Nabara, bro, I almost fucking cried. I remember I was at work watching that shit. Nigga, when he touched her face, I was in that bitch. No. I was in that bitch like, no, please. What scene? What scene you watch, Smooth? That shit had me sad. I was in that bitch tearing up, bro. I was like, no, please, not Nabara. Please. Alright, let's finish the video. Let's go.
Mahito treats humans as effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break
Yeah,
your spirit first
that's on
and
my
watch
list.
you suffer.
Full Metal on my
Even
list.
more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his application of idol transfiguration, and despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort, exponentially amplifying its force
Watch
by a
Brotherhood
factor
first.
of 2.5.
So I watched
Not
that
only does
first
this
or regular
hurt
Full
like
Metal
a
first?
mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the Domain Expansion.
Oh shit! More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside,
like Boomstick,
Mahito
you
can
funny as
use
hell.
idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's
Oh, okay.
absolute control
Okay, bet.
over his victim's body and soul.
I'll
The
tap
only
it.
time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him,
The king of curses,
Sukuna.
Sukuna.
which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's
Okay,
body.
okay,
Sukuna
bet.
didn't like that. No surprise, it kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful
Mahito
curses
running
in the
around in
world,
Shibuya
and his
in the
growth
Shibuya
is
train station.
exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jodo was able
That
to summon
shit
a
was-
massive meteor capable of reducing the city
Man,
of Shibuya.
when I tell you I was in that
That'd take an energy
motherfucker
of over
sad, bro.
800 kilotons of TNT.
Shibuya, the
Mahito can
Shibuya arc,
take
that
as good
whole
as he can
shit
give, especially
was
when
like
in the throes of struggle against Yuji.
sadness
he
and despair.
evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades, this was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing into. A true blight on all mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a bitter battle of resolve, Yuji won out. In a dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. And what do you know? Life suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
For
He
him,
was crying
maybe,
like a
but
bitch.
Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees. Hey, do
So
you
he
see that join
technically
button?
won.
Yeah, that one. That's your ticket to being a Death Battle champion. As a champion, you get all sorts of exclusive Death Battle content, like extra videos, live chats, and sending us your own matchup ideas. And the support helps us make even more Death Battle. So thank you for being a champion. All
Bet,
right, the
okay.
combatants are set, and we've run
Bet.
the data through all
I
possibilities.
watched Brotherhood.
It's time!
Oh, damn, I don't know why I'm coughing so much. Fuck.
Oh!
Top 5 get backs of all time? Oh shit, okay. I'll tap in. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god!
I'd heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring them your head instead?
Fine by me. Let's call this your audition. Sick 'em.
Oh shit. Not the Nobu. Yeah. They freaky as hell. I would say he caught the dub already.
Did you actually just see that? God, how lame!
Oh shit.
Audition over.
Did I get the part?
Well, Shigaraki really ain't got hands on like that. He got hands a little bit, but he more of like just destructive. Get it? Hands? Get it? He does have hands, but he don't got hands, if you get what I'm saying. Oh shit. I forgot about that form that Mahito got.
That all you got? Domain expansion.
Oh no! Oh no! Mahito might beat this nigga. He never seen the domain expansion before.
Scared little boy whose daddy was mean and wants to make it everyone else's problem. Grow up.
No.
Hands off my masterpiece.
Okay, okay, all for one. Helping out, okay.
I felt your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally random. I hate them for a reason.
Uh-oh.
You grow up.
Oh, shit.
What did I say?
Shigaraki,
Liz?
my
Like a
motherfucking
With
guy.
the complex
That's what I'm
power
talking
sets,
about,
this
bitch.
match was a
Let's
puzzle
go.
to figure out, which is
Come
why
on,
we're breaking
man.
it down to 3 categories: physical stats, survivability, and their powers.
But first, let's address
Tactic.
one thing. Could Shigaraki even see Mahito? He's an invisible curse after all.
Cursed
That's
energy
true,
and
too.
quirks
How
are
is he
notably
able to see
different,
him, but-
and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Surge quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem
Oh,
tracking.
shit.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki's scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was thousands of times faster. Shigaraki takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms
Yeah,
of raw
I
durability,
felt like
Shigaraki
that's what I was
a lot
thinking.
tougher.
Shigaraki
His
just
ability
had
to
too
generate
much
new
shit
flesh meant that he
for
could heal
Mahito
any
to,
wounds he
like,
might
fight
receive
back.
super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idol transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks all for one
He
had
got
collected
too much
over all
shit.
the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idol transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idol transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy has hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the
Hey,
real
what's up?
Mahito may be made
What's
of spirit
up?
energy,
What's up,
but he
Royce?
still
How you
has
doing,
a physical
baby?
form. In fact,
We about to
sorcerers
do
that
your
couldn't
react now,
naturally
or as
target
soon
the
as this
soul
video over
were
with.
able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the
How
death,
you doing,
but
brother?
Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable powers, and deadly decay spelled the end for the disaster curse.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
I'm
The winner
here.
is
You know,
Tomura Shigaraki.
I'm here. I'm trying to do the
Time
best I
on
can.
Death Battle.
They playing me now. I'm trying to get this little shit off the ground. I need some money to get me around, but money don't grow on no trees. Yeah, they wait on me now. Hey, if I had $1 for all of my sounds, then I need a money machine. Yeah, money don't grow on no trees. Yeah, I need a money machine. Yeah, money don't grow on no trees. Yeah.